Hi, everybody. Good morning. Thank you, especially for INTI, for the invitation to be here. I'm very glad to be here today. I have the first challenge of the day to be very fast with the content, so I'll go further. My name is Luisiana. I'm an architect and urban planner from the Institute of Research and Urban Planning in Curitiba. Just brief information about the city. We are in the south of Brazil. We are the capital of the state of Paraná here, and we are in the middle of the metropolitan region of Curitiba, and we kind of look like a heart, so we say that we are the heart of the region. This region is composed by 29 cities, which some of them are very far from Curitiba, but we are kind of a political metropolitan region, more than just spatial. We have this, what we call NUC, the red dotted line. NUC is like the concentration of urbanized areas in Curitiba and in the surroundings where the action actually happens. So we are a little bit bigger than our borders. About population. So Curitiba nowadays has almost 1.8 million inhabitants, and the whole region has about 3,500,000 inhabitants. So our growth is almost 1% per year in the city, and the whole region is almost 2%. So the region is growing a little faster than us. Well, just briefly, the history. We were founded in 1693 with this enormous name of, thank you very much, with Vila de Nossa Senhora da Luz do Bom Jesus dos Pinhais de Curitiba. So can you imagine people saying, where are you from? Like, okay, do you have time? So Curitiba means a lot of pine trees, and pine trees seeds, which are the like a symbol of our region. Well, so we grew with time. In the beginning, we were very small, with 30,000 people only. And after the immigrants that came to Brazil, our city developed a lot. And in the beginning of the 1900s, we looked a little bit like this, with the transportation already, a lot of cosmopolitan people and industries and growth. So in 43, we were growing a lot, so we needed our first official urban transformation. And it's called a Gasso Plan because of the person who did the plan, Alfred Agache. And the two main characteristics were that we should grow in radial way with avenues that would come from the center to the surroundings. And here you can see in the map the real plan. And we also had some functional centers, which are these red dots here, mostly like Brasilia concept. We had like educational, housing, industrial, military areas. So this was the main characteristic of this plan. And what it did to Curitiba was something similar to what we see here. We had a high concentration of development in the center and the housing areas in the surroundings, as you see here in yellow. So we grew a lot. We doubled the population twice in 20 years. So this started to become a problem. Some people, we already had traffic jam in the same street where we had the tram. We didn't have the tram anymore. Traffic jam, a lot of concentration. And they were even thinking about doing, to take the traffic away from the center, but still keeping it in an idea similar to this. This would be like a viaduct in the heart of the city, in the historic center. So this created an alert among the planners and the mayor and everybody in the city. So we thought we needed a new plan. We didn't want that to happen. So we had money from the state. We had like a confluence of many planets almost. We had a lucky portion as well. So we had the planners, the idea, and we made a competition. So the winner of the competition that won this plan was Jorge Wilhelm with the Serete company from São Paulo. And they did the main guidelines for our new growth of the city. So this would change from radial to linear, and that's where the innovation started in Curitiba. So we created first 5 axes, which would be the BRT ones in the future, and we had a preliminary plan from this competition. And then the population at the time, it was 500,000 people. And for the implementation of this preliminary plan and to create a real master plan, IPUC, where I work, the Institute for Research on Urban Planning, was created. It was 1 year of process. We started as an advisory, but now, in the end, we were an institute. We are part of the municipality. We are like the urban planning department of the city. And this text is just the mission that we had and still have until today. Implement and improve the plan. Well, so comparing to the other image, this is what happened to Curitiba. We were concentrated in the center, and we wanted to grow in a linear and densification way. So what you see here are the 5 axes with super high density in the middle, like what we see here, and residential areas in the surroundings, as we see also here. Well, so this is what we call our structural sector, which is composed by the high density in the middle, the bus segregated lanes here, and the idea was to put more people where we have the good transportation system. Then we would have like from high to low density along the axis. And Curitiba was considered sustainable at the time because we were already thinking about road network, land use, and the public transportation system. And we kind of started the TOD, transit-oriented development process. So just for you to have an idea, this is an image of the structural sector. We also created these galleries, so the buildings have to have a commercial bottom, and also they can be mixed in the towers, but there is a need for this commercial ground floor. And we also created what we call trinary system, which is together with the bus lanes, we have 2 fast lanes, fast streets that come and go to the center, connecting the rest of the city. Well, comparing to the past, the first bus was in '74, and this is now. We mostly changed technology and infrastructure, but the land use and the city remains the same. Well, we had an evolution of the transportation system. We started with 1 axis, and now we went metropolitan. So we left the borders of Curitiba. We can say that transportation was our inducer of development. So you can see like 50 years before, this was Curitiba, and that's now. And in this image, we can see better. It's very, very easy to find the axis. Is the high concentration of buildings and also the density. So we kept going like this for years, from 65, 70 till 2004. So I put this here because in 2004 we had our first revision of the master plan, official one. And the main thing that happened was that we created a new axis, which is here. And this is a former freeway that cut the city in 2 parts, and we decided to bring it to the city as an avenue, as an axis, and this is the characteristic of it. So it used to have a different land use, and now we want to create a new axis like the other ones. So the evolution of Curitiba, this was supposed to be going, but anyway, you can see from the colors, we left our borders a long time ago. So now talking about environmental actions. This is Barigui Park, one of our most important parks. And we had a lot of urban areas created for flood control, especially because we have a lot of water and a lot of trouble with water. And because of that, we also created a lot of urban spaces with high quality and honoring some of the immigrants that came to Curitiba. So here are some examples of our places. Well, in general, we have a lot of urban green areas in the city. So here's a map to show you. We have the big river here, which is called Iguaçu. If you probably heard of the Iguaçu Falls, this is where the river starts. And here we have another big one called Passaúna. So these are the main green areas. And we have a lot of parks in the middle of the city. So you can see here the numbers. And basically, we created a green city from the 80s on, 80s, 90s. So, talking about waste. In the end of the 90s, we started with a campaign for recycling. This was called the Leaves Family campaign. This would go to all schools. I was a child who was educated by this campaign. And the idea was for children to educate their families. And it really worked because they created culture of recycling among us. So this was very successful at the time, and we started to improve these campaigns. Nowadays, in 2006, we started with new characters, showing like the kinds of materials to teach the children, still with the separating issue. And in 2013, we created this character, which is Dr. Sigmund, to incentivize people not only to separate, but also to reuse the garbage. For example, use the glass for flowers or whatever. This is working very well. So we still keep with the educational campaigns in schools, especially municipal schools. So children are still keeping this culture of recycling. We have two kinds of waste collection in the city. A formal one, which is the municipality, with different kinds of collections every week. We have different days. And here's a list, if you need after. And we also have what we call sustainability stations. These are some new places where people have to take their waste, and they can separate here, and then the municipality comes to collect here, because it's very expensive still for us to collect. Well, we also have informal collection, and I put this picture so you can get the real situation. There are many people who live in favelas, and they collect this garbage to make money. So we call them the pickers, and they actually live in conditions like this, in like a slavery way, because they pay rent to the owners of the spaces, and they don't get a lot of money as they should with that. But this is something that we are trying to improve. This is our biggest challenge related to waste. So just regarding this, we have two programs, which are the most important ones, probably. The Green Exchange is the first one, because we didn't have a way to collect the garbage in the very narrow streets of the favelas, for example. And in 1991, we had an extra production of food in the local region. So the municipality decided to buy this extra production and exchange for waste. So this is when the program was born, and we started doing this as an official initiative. So nowadays, the local producers sell food to the municipality, and it's a way for us to collect the garbage indirectly and also give access to good food to the local people. This is the map of the places where we have this project. It's like twice a month that they go to the regions, and we have 100 points in the city. The other one is called Eco Cidadão, is where we have facilities for the pickers to recycle their garbage. So they can go there with safety and proper clothes and proper equipment to do all the separation instead of keeping in their homes, like the picture I showed. So we have 20 facilities in the city. They can register, and we incentivize them to do, but we still have this challenge of the informal market. So just for you to have an idea, this is a kind of facility. We used to have a landfill in Curitiba, which was here in the south, and you see it's in a very green area of the Iguaçu River. It was closed in 2010 because of the capacity, and nowadays we have a consortium with all the cities in the metropolitan region to separate, collect, and for the destination of the garbage. So here, if you need more information later, here is the data. Well, regarding food, and I'm coming to the end, we have a lot of programs, but I brought the most important ones for the topic of this event. We have a lot of community growing areas, like urban agriculture, especially under the electric infrastructure. So we incentivize them to have this at home, have like a community area where we see here, and we are still improving. This is something we still have to learn, but we already have a lot of local production. And here are some programs that we have for selling the food and for giving access to cheap and good food to the low-income population, especially. These are different ones, but mostly they have like very cheap products that everybody can buy. And like fairs, like every week or every 15 days, they can have access to local products. So now the challenges. Some of them were already said here. They are in the booklet. So I'm not going to concentrate on them. But mostly, I think we need to reinvent ourselves. Most of our challenges are compatible to what Michele was talking about, the new urban agenda. And I think the two main issues of Brazil and Curitiba are the social, economical, and the violence, criminality. So we need to improve this especially. Well, mobility, we have a car-oriented city besides having a good BRT. We have a federal policy and culture of car, and it went to the city, so I think we need to improve. We are improving in the bike and the new modes of, or alternative modes to the car, but we still need to go further. And when IPUC was created, probably all of you know Jaime Lerner. He was part of the team, and he was able, because he was indicated as mayor, to implement the plan. So we had a 50 years innovation, implementation, but nowadays we need to do that again. And we have what we can say a new generation at IPUC. And I'm part of this. We are very happy to have this challenge now, but we know that we have a very difficult task ahead. So, and also the public participation process for us is very new, so we need to improve it. And opportunities, also some were already said, but we have some new development guidelines, but I think we should improve them a little bit and start to think about the future and how the cities are changing, how technology is changing. So I think this is a task for our generation, at IPUC especially, and we already have the framework, this infrastructure is mainly a change of mindset and paradigms that we need. So last slide, this is how we started to implement our guidelines. We had a new revision of the master plan last year and the year previous one. So we are creating, you saw we had a linear growth. Now we are trying to create more like a grid growth and to develop a compact city concept inside these compartments. So this is the main guideline for the future, and we definitely need to go metropolitan because we are definitely not an island as we see in most of all these maps. So thank you very much. I'm available for questions and information. Yeah.